Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video. If you're new here, I'm Jackie and I'm a self-taught software engineer with a background in mechanical and aerospace engineering, and I'm based in London. I taught myself how to code over the course of 2 years while working full-time, and now I work in big tech. My degree was very valuable to me and I enjoyed my university experience a lot. However, software development had its own special appeal to me because it is more accessible than other traditional engineering fields. And on top of that, it also tends to be a field which is more fast-paced and flexible. I know that higher education is not the right path for everyone, nor is it accessible to everyone. So in this video, I'm going to be focusing on how I learned how to code back in 2019-2020 and how you can do it too with modern programs and tools at your disposal, including AI. This video has the support of TripleTen, which is an online part-time bootcamp. TripleTen is designed to help you transition into a tech career even if you have no prior work experience, and I will talk more about this later on in the video. My journey into coding actually started when I was doing my master's thesis, which I did in aeroacoustics. For my thesis, I was working with fans on heat pump units, and the whole goal of it was to reduce the noise that these would produce. There are two, let's say, main categories of noise, and I was focusing on broadband noise. So I was using computational fluid dynamics, CFD, to calculate and simulate pressure distributions, turbulent kinetic energy, and decibel levels. And then I was trying to redesign the fans so that they would produce less noise. Noise reduction and aeroacoustics in general are a pretty big field in aerospace. So when I graduated, I ended up working for an aerospace company. One of the teams that I worked with was an aerodynamics team, and here I got to write scripts in Python and also bash scripts. I was doing some post-processing on the data, and I was also sending data into high-performance clusters for simulations. This was the first time that I started writing code in a corporate environment, and I really enjoyed it because it kept me really busy. I felt like I was always in the zone when I was coding, and I really enjoyed the problem-solving aspect of it. In addition to that, I also noticed how writing a script, which would take me a few hours, ended up saving me days of manual work, and I really enjoyed that as well. Something very wrong is happening with my screen. I think it might be time to get a new screen finally. I have no idea what's happening with my monitor. I couldn't figure it out. I don't think it's the cable. Stay tuned, I might need to get a new monitor. Anyway, I'm gonna turn it off because I don't want to annoy you guys with the flickering in the background. Let's proceed with the video. Once I got a taste for programming at my job, I did what most beginners do. I looked up tutorials online and I started doing a JavaScript tutorial. I did online tutorials, I watched YouTube videos and YouTube tutorials, and I also looked at online courses. There were so many resources online, I didn't know which ones were actually useful. I was kind of just jumping from one tutorial to another until I settled on an online course, which was a bit longer. But even then, I wasn't sure if I was learning the right things, because when you are a beginner, you don't even know what you don't know, and you don't know what it is that you need to know, right? That's the problem. After doing this online course, I decided to focus on building projects myself. One of the best learning experiences I had was building Edsheet with my friends. To be honest, Edsheet taught me more than any course ever could. The best way to learn is by hands-on building things that you actually want to use. And Edsheet also helped me in landing my first job in tech. Building something and deploying it to production, having a domain that people can actually access to see what you have built is really valuable, and it distinguishes you from other candidates for a job. Ultimately, what got me into big tech was my background and also Edsheet, because without Edsheet, I don't know if I would have gotten an offer. I know that many of you might be feeling the same way I did, where you're lost in a sea of tutorials and you know that you need to have hands-on experience and that you need to build something to put on your CV, but you don't know where to start. I was very lucky in this regard because I knew people working in the industry who gave me advice, and they were able to work on this project with me, which I was able to showcase on my CV, and it helped me in landing a job. But I know that this is not the reality for everyone. So in the rest of the video, I'm going to break down how I would learn how to code if I was starting today. If you're serious about wanting to learn how to code, you can do it in one of three ways. You can do it all by yourself with online courses. This is what I did, but honestly, it's not the path that I would necessarily recommend. It is the most flexible and the most cost-effective option, but it requires so much discipline. And honestly, it can be very hard at times because of the lack of structure and guidance. Some people can do it, especially if you have the support of other people who know already how to code and who work in industry, but it's definitely not for everyone. The second option is to attend a bootcamp. Bootcamps are intensive short-term training programs that teach you practical programming skills. Bootcamps are usually well-structured and they offer some level of flexibility, and they train you specifically for the job market. They usually have mentors and teachers to guide you, and the tuition is obviously much cheaper than a college tuition. However, it is not equivalent to a computer science degree. It still requires a lot of discipline on your end, and you will not have the same depth of knowledge as a computer science graduate. The last option is to learn by going to college and studying computer science or computer engineering. This option will definitely give you the most in-depth knowledge, but there's a big cost associated to it and the time investment on your end as well. And I would say that it also still requires discipline on your end, and you will still have to look for hands-on experience after, for example, by getting an internship. I think that if you're more hands-on type of person, or if you lack the financial means to study at university, I would say that bootcamps are probably the best option for you. Learning alone is very hard, take it from someone who's done it. It's definitely not impossible, but it's not easy, for sure. In fact, it was really freaking hard. I do not want to go back to that stage of my life. I also had 2 STEM degrees. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in mechanical engineering. That obviously makes me stand out as well compared to other self-taught people. TripleTen offers a very structured learning path, which includes mentorship and career support. Unlike self-teaching, where you practically have to figure out everything alone, these programs are designed to help you stay on track. They will also support you in every step of the way, which I think is very valuable. It really makes the learning process more efficient and smoother, and also more enjoyable. When I did my research about TripleTen, I noticed that they put a lot of weight on career outcomes and real-world experience. Their software engineering program really prepares you for the job market, and it focuses on building projects and a portfolio. And this is really important if you want to break into tech, especially if you don't have a degree, because this is the way to make up for it. The software engineering program took students on average 6 to 10 months to complete. Based on stats from 2023, the median salary of students before joining TripleTen was $46K, whereas the salary of the job after graduation was $75K. So there was a 63% salary increase after the program, which is great. I also found it very interesting to see that 61% of graduates secured fully remote jobs after graduation. Once you graduate, you can try to look for a job that best fits your lifestyle, whether that's fully remote or hybrid or fully in the office. In my opinion, something that makes TripleTen stand out is that they offer you a full refund option if you don't find a job within 10 months of graduating. I think that this guarantee is very valuable for someone who's taking a risk and changing careers. And personally, this is the only kind of bootcamp that I would ever sign up for, the kind that gives you a guarantee on the outcomes. The other thing which really convinced me about TripleTen when I was doing my research is that they offer externships to their students. They basically have partnerships with real companies, and while you're doing their program, you will work on problems associated to these companies. This will expose you to real industry problems, and it will give you an edge which other people will not have. Some of the partners that work with TripleTen to offer these externships are Scentbird, Superfluid, and Autonomy. I personally think that this is really good. It was only once I started doing internships and working on projects with real companies that I actually saw what kind of problems exist in the industry, and I think that it's really good that TripleTen offers this at such an early stage. Some students from TripleTen have even found jobs at huge companies like Samsung, Apple, Discord, and Spotify. Now, TripleTen also provides personalized career support to help students transition into tech. They offer one-on-one guidance from tutors, career coaches, and code reviewers. They also assist with your resume, with your LinkedIn profile and mock interviews, and they ensure that students are well prepared for job applications even after you graduate. If you're interested in TripleTen, you should definitely check out their blog. They have some really cool success stories over there, which I'm sure will be inspiring to you. The blog also has articles with industry insights, with tips for interviewing and for job hunting, and everything that they share is backed by data and by statistics, which I find incredible. You can start your tech journey today with TripleTen's software engineering program, which is linked in the video description. The program covers everything you need to know, and I will break it down shortly. And I have a discount code Jackie, which will give you 30% off. If, however, you are unsure about your ideal career path, you can visit TripleTen's website with the link in the description, or you can scan the QR code on the screen to try a free career consultation with one of their tutors. Alternatively, you can also take a career quiz to explore different tech professions. This can be helpful if you really have no idea where to start and if you don't know what kind of career would suit you. It's completely free, so just give one of these a try, see what comes out, and do a bit of research. Regardless of what path you choose, whether you're studying by yourself at home, whether you're doing a bootcamp, or whether you're studying at university, Here's what I think you need to focus on in 2025 to become a software developer. And again, all of this and much more is covered by TripleTen software engineering program, so make sure to check it out after the video. Before jumping into any big projects, I would recommend learning one programming language, preferably a beginner-friendly one. I personally started with JavaScript because it's widely used in web development, but you can also start with Python. Those two are the most common to start with. You need to learn and understand variables, loops, conditionals, functions, methods, objects, and you need to be able to debug code. You need to start by building a foundation that you can work upon later on. This is the step where you're laying a foundation for everything else that you will be learning. Once you have the foundations of a programming language, I would recommend learning Git and the command line. Every developer needs to know how to commit code and how to use the terminal. Git is crucial for version control, collaboration, and deploying applications, and the terminal is important mostly to build and run code. As a next step, I would recommend learning web development basics, even if you don't want to become a web developer. Knowing how the web works is very important as a software engineer. It helps you understand front-end and back-end interactions, APIs, and code deployments. I recommend learning at least the basics of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Learning how to code can be incredibly frustrating, and you will consider giving up, I'm telling you. Trying to build a web app is a way of making the learning process more engaging and more visual, in a way that it interests you more, because you're building something that potentially you actually want to use and something that is fun to you. Whether that is a workout app or a nutrition app or an app to check the stock price, whatever interests you, if you focus on building that, it will be more fun and more engaging, and it is less likely then that you will give up. That is why I think learning the basics of web development and building a small project at this stage is very helpful. As the next step, I would focus on backend development and databases. This is where you learn how applications store and handle data. It's very important to learn how APIs work, how databases work, what's the difference between SQL and NoSQL, and how we can retrieve and store and manage data in general. And I think it would also be good to learn at least one backend framework, such as Node.js. Now, as a next step, I would focus on data structures and algorithms. You need to know fundamental data structures such as arrays, linked lists, stacks, queues, heaps, trees, tries. It's very important to know the searching algorithms as well, like a normal linear search or a binary search. It's also important to understand recursion and being able to code up a recursive algorithm. Dynamic programming is also important, and understanding big O notation. Learning these will not only help you with coding interviews, it will also help you with your logical reasoning skills in general and being able to write more efficient code. If you've gotten to this stage, then you have a pretty solid foundation and you know how to code. At this stage, your goal should be to solidify your skills and to build a portfolio of projects that you can show a potential employer. You can do this by building apps that solve real problems. You can contribute to open source projects, or you can share your work on GitHub and create a portfolio. This is where programs like TripleTen can really help you, because they expose you to the right opportunities where you can build these types of projects. The last step on my long journey on how to learn how to code in 2025 is learning how to leverage AI as a software developer. In today's industry, using AI is a game changer, and it is something that you need to use to your advantage. AI can streamline your workflow and accelerate development, and these tools that are out there, they do not only help with writing code, but also optimize code. They suggest more efficient coding practices, and they generate boilerplate code. They even help you in writing design documents. You can use GitHub Copilot, you can use IDE extensions, and you can also use chatGPT. These are some of the free ones that are available. I do not recommend using AI in your projects while you are still learning how to code. Challenging yourself to write your own code and come up with your own solutions, it's what's going to make your brain establish the right connections so that you become faster and better at programming. It's what's going to turn you into a problem solver, and it's what's going to develop your logical reasoning skills. AI will get things wrong very often. AI always makes a lot of assumptions about the thing that you want to build. A lot of it is based on prompt engineering, and yes, we need to be able to write good prompts and to guide the AI towards a solution. However, AI tends to make a lot of assumptions which are not always shared with you. And if you don't know what you're doing, you will not be able to detect the errors that the AI is putting into your solution. AI should be used to make you more productive, more efficient, so that you can achieve more with less. It is not designed to replace you as the mastermind behind the project and the solution that you're building. You can use AI to accelerate your path towards becoming a mastermind, but you can't use it to replace it. So these are the steps that I would take to learn how to code in 2025. If you are interested in the bootcamp approach, TripleTen offers a very flexible part-time program that you can pursue. You can schedule a call with one of their career experts to discuss the program and see if it's a good fit for you. And if it is, you can use my code Jackie for 30% off any of their programs. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!